From the least funny person to ever be on Saturday Night Live comes his first feature-length film, Y2K. The person I'm talking about is obviously Kyle Mooney, and not only is he directing this bitch, he's also writing and starring in it, and now I'm gonna talk about it in a spoiler-free review. Let's go! The year is 1999. A 17-year-old in his prime, Adam, me, is looking at his future, and it looks great. We have the internet now. We have American Pie films. And we have no rules or no fear. And I'm, of course, talking about clothing lines and Trapper Keepers. And now we have a movie that pulls me back into that world with Y2K. It's a period piece that takes place in 1999, just before the great disaster happens. That doesn't happen, but we were warned that it might. You see, in 1999, there was this big craze going around that when the computers switched over to the year 2000, everything would go haywire. Planes would fall out of the sky, the banks would go down, things were gonna crash and burn. It was gonna be fire and brimstone. And of course, as we know, that all happened. And we rebuilt, like a phoenix rising from the ashes. No, it didn't. But this movie is kind of a what if it did situation. And I thought, you know what, that premise is pretty funny. I like a good nostalgia bait flick, reliving the glory days as they were. And this movie, holy shit, is it full of them. Before I get into it, if you wouldn't mind being a doll and hitting the subscribe and the notification bell, I can look back on this year with fond memories, much like I do 1999. Y2K is rated R. It's an hour and 30 minutes long, feels like 2. Pacing's a little inconsistent at times. But I will give it credit. The first third, pretty damn solid. I was eating up all the member berries. I remember CD players. I remember skip protection being bullshit protection. It didn't work. Although bullshit protection kind of implies that it's protecting you from bullshit, so that didn't really work, but let's keep going. The protagonist of this film is Eli. He's a horny teenager. I can relate. I self-identify as one still. He and his friend, douchey kid from Deadpool 2, who has been playing this same character forever now. I can't tell if I like this actor or if I dislike him. I feel like I'm in the middle. Like, he pushes and pulls me every direction. It's crazy. As for Eli, not a fan. And I liked this kid in It Chapter 1, sprinkled into It Chapter 2. I thought he was really good there, likable kid. Here, he's doing the nerd thing, and he's all in. Doesn't know how to talk to anyone. He's just insecure, looks down a lot, talks really quietly to himself. But don't worry, America's sweetheart, Rachel Zegler, is here to pick up the slack. She plays Laura, and Laura's gonna be the smart, techie love interest. She's also the popular girl at school because, as we know, the cool girl in 1999 was also the computer nerd, also the super smart one with tech. It just adds up. To be fair to Rachel, she's perfectly fine in this role. She's likable, so she is a good actress. I'll give her that much. We're gonna follow this ragtag crew as they go to the video rental store, go behind the red curtain of beads to the porno tapes, do some drugs, because nothing's funner than watching people get high. That's seriously never been funny once to me ever. And so naturally, funniest man on planet Earth, Kyle Mooney's gonna be playing that character. But again, I honestly found myself kind of enjoying the first third of the movie. It's very much a nice callback to a lot of the stuff I did. Not so much the smoking of the weed, but secretly going into the rental store section behind the red beads and getting a gander at some of the naughty tapes you could rent. I don't know if anybody else did this. It was a thing at our mall, but we would do the Pac Sun Challenge, the Pacific Sun Challenge, where you would start at the beginning of the store and you'd have to get to the end of the store, touch the wall, and get back out before any of the employees said anything to you. It was honestly incredibly hard, especially as news traveled and employees knew about the challenge. I think I successfully did it once, but I also believe it's because I am so incredibly unremarkable in every single way. People often don't realize I'm even there, which is amazing because I am 6'4". I'm just a slowly moving lampshade to them. Subscribe. For pity. So I guess to go over the pros, it has a fun concept. It's a good looking movie. I like the throwback style. It doesn't go so far in where it's doing the film grain and everything. It's just a nice looking flick. Failing to come up with a third. Rachel Zegler is attractive to look at, and she's not being cringe as fuck. So, win. Everybody else is annoying, not funny, and just unremarkable. Kind of like, again, am today. I could go into a PacSun. If you could point out a PacSun, I would, man. I don't know do people go to malls still? Are malls even a thing you can go into? I feel like if I found a Pacific Sun at a mall, I could easily walk, touch the wall, and come back. There would be no one else there. The challenge now would be getting stopped by a human being if you go into a store. Anybody? Hello? Anybody here? Where the fuck am I? Is the janitor in the back? PacSun. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Morgan Freeman, is that you? I keep going to this third part of the movie because that's when the film peaks at the party. There's, again, a bunch of, like, Limp Bizkit references. They play Cisco. That girl's so scandalous. Can't handle it. Good shit. And everybody agrees that it's good. Which is funny. You have all the different factions of people, and they're all, in their own groups. You have the emo kids, you got the jocks, you got the stoners. But when Cisco comes on, they all kind of set aside their differences and just rock out to the music. Rock out to the perfection. That is thong song. Let me see that there's a let's get it baby. That dong. It's hard to get me out of it. It's hard to get me out of it. So that's a third plus. The music is freaking banging. If you grew up in the 90s, you know this shit. And it hits hard every single time. The problem is we still have another 2/3 of the movie to get to. And it goes boom off the side of a cliff when the plot starts to kick in. Now you have psychotic robots slowly coming to life, killing people. There are some solid kills at the party. That's pretty much the majority of the budget and the good shit. After that, it's just spinning its wheels. Doesn't feel like it has any real direction to go. There's a lot of smaller scenes where two people are interacting. The dialogue's not hitting. It's not funny. You have a Fred Durst superfan girl who's just bad at this. Although she did have a handy cam, which instantly brought me back because I was one of those idiots that was walking around trying to film stuff all the time with my buddies. And Alicia Silverstone and Tim Heidecker are also billed in this movie. And I know why. I know why they are. Tim Heidecker, super nerd fan. He did Tim and Eric, Tom Goes to the Mayor, I think it was called. I watched them. I really liked Tim and Eric. Super funny. I think they labeled themselves as, was it anti-humor? They had a buzz term for it. And it was kind of interesting because they really were people, these two guys, doing different types of comedy, different types of jokes, where it was so awkward and cringy to the point where it got funny. He's not used at all in this movie. He's in it for maybe 2 minutes, and he's just a straight arrow, boring dad. Same with Alicia Silverstone, the it girl from the 90s, Clueless being the big breakout film of hers. She's a boring mom. They have nothing to do in this movie at all, and it's disappointing. I did bring up Fred Durst earlier. Let's talk about the Durst in the room. This time, I'ma let it all go out. I'ma do things my way. My way or the highway. He's in the movie. He's billed in the movie. He's on the poster, and he sucks. And I celebrate his entire catalog, okay? Everything. I'll keep rolling. What? I know you've been loving this shit right here. You freaking me out, you throw a mask on counterfeit. Freaking me out, you throw a mask on counterfeit. I came into this world as a reject. Look into these eyes. Love me some $50 bill, y'all. Love me chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water. It's sad that I know the title of that still. And it's sad that they couldn't find an ounce of comedy to pull from this guy. He sucks in this. And it's just one of the many reasons why this movie misses the mark. The humor falls flat. It's a dark comedy. I laughed out loud exactly one time, and it was funny as shit. And I don't even want to ruin it because it was the only funny part if you end up watching this movie. And when it happens, you will know, and you will go, ah, that was the part. That was the part. And it happens in that first third. So you can just shut the movie off when it's on streaming inevitably in a week from now and move on with your life. This is an overall miss. I don't think it's terrible. It's just so disappointing because there is some potential here. I just think Kyle Mooney needs to maybe hone his craft a little bit more as a director. But I do think as a first attempt, it's pretty admirable. He clearly has some skill and he can make it work in the future. But this one needed a little bit more time to cook. And I think I'm pretty well done on this review. Let me know if you saw Y2K. Give me your thoughts in a comment below. Please, again, like, subscribe because you pity me. It's just sad. It's sad at this point. I wish I had a Fred Durst hat I could throw on, a red hat, put it backwards, and I could do things my way or the highway. Become a Patreon at patreon.com/AdamDoesMovies. There's different tier levels, different ways to help me grow as an individual, get to the end of that Pac Sun building and back. And that way you won't miss a single video in the future. All right, hopefully I see you next time. Take care.